What's up? Welcome back to Nowstalgia. Dave here with my reaction to the 2024 Oscars. We finally got them, did my predictions, reacted to the nominations. The Oscars finally happened, and unsurprisingly, Oppenheimer came out on top, winning 7 awards off its 13 nominations, followed by Poor Things winning 4 times, The Zone of Interest winning twice, and several other movies winning once. Gonna go through all the winners, gonna go through the takeaways, what stood out most about what happened. But overall, I'd say it's a pretty good telecast. Like this, I think is one of the strongest, most tightly produced Oscar shows we've gotten some time. Part of that coming kind of under the runtime, running more efficiently than we've had in the past. Of course, big talking point with the 2024 Oscars with the fact that it was starting early, and combining that with daylight savings time was a bit of a different vibe. But more than anything, I think the fact that this movie had genuine popular films in true genuine contention, namely of course Oppenheimer and Barbie, really leading to, I think, genuine interest from a lot of people with this show. Just not beyond people like myself that are going to watch it either way, that are hardcore film fans, right? Jimmy Kimmel doing well once again in his 4th time hosting. Also, we got a taste of maybe what is to come. John Mulaney presenting one of the awards. He's, I think, hotly tipped to be a future host. I think he would be amazing. So we'll see about that. Kimmel has wanted to, in some respects, retire from this. So that'd be a fun passing of the torch. But yeah, I think overall, one really strong takeaway that I think we should go with how the awards happened was the international membership of the Film Academy that we talk about often when predicting nominations specifically. That is a very strong, certified thing. The Zone of Interest winning two awards, namely the second award it wins. Best International Feature was a given, but it also won Best Sound, beating Oppenheimer in that category. Anatomy of a Fall winning Best Original Screenplay, of course a movie from France. Godzilla Minus One winning Best Visual Effects, defying some of the conventional wisdom with the precursor award suggesting the creator would in fact win. Very happy with Godzilla getting that dub, of course. Also, of course, probably the most notable of all with this, Studio Ghibli's The Boy and the Heron winning Best Animated Feature, defeating Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, despite the fact that all the predicting, for the most part, in terms of precursors, was suggesting Spider-Man would win. All that combined together with, of course, Justine Triet being nominated for Best Director, the trends we've seen in the past with other international faces getting into Best Director, like Ryusuke Hamaguchi, Bong Joon-ho, Paul Pawlikowski, Thomas Vinterberg, it just continues to circle us in on the fact that the international aspect of the Film Academy is quite strong. And to me, this is a great thing because film has never been more global, never been more accessible than it is at this very moment. So we should honor that. And if we're a little less Hollywood in terms of what we nominate and what wins, I think that's a good thing. And again, all the international movies that won and were nominated this year are great. So I think everybody wins. Kind of related to that, of course, would be Yorgos Lanthimos, nominated for Best Director, and his film Poor Things is the 3rd most nominated film, 2nd most winningest film. And Yorgos, of course, has a track record at the Oscars, but he continues this trend. And I think my other big takeaway related, of course, is that Poor Things, which had just a stronger night than was to be expected, winning 4 times. And a lot of the awards that Poor Things won, I had predicting Barbie would win, but Poor Things kind of, won that battle each and every time, winning for costume design, winning for production design, also winning for makeup and hairstyling, award tip to go to Maestro going home empty-handed. Also going home empty-handed was Martin Scorsese's Killers of the Flower Moon, now the 3rd film from Marty to go 0 for 10 at the Oscars. What a tough beat. And of course, Killers went 0 for because Lily Gladstone did not win Best Actress. Of course, that went to Emma Stone for Poor Things, again, contributing to this strong night for Poor Things. And that was, of course, a kind of a dead heat race head-to-head. They had split up all the precursor wins, so it was really hard to get a feel of exactly where it was going to go. I had picked Gladstone. Stone gets the win, her 2nd Best Actress win, really getting her into historic company, especially given her still young age. So she's just one of our standout movie stars, obviously, and it's certainly a well-deserved win. But yeah, big night for Poor Things, big night for the international films in general, and of course a big night for Oppenheimer, unsurprisingly, winning picture, director, supporting actor, cinematography, editing, score. Robert Downey Jr. giving a great speech for supporting actor, an awesome win from him. Christopher Nolan finally being certified at the Academy with his first Best Director win, and winning for Best Picture, which also happened to be one of the highest grossing films of the year. And it's kind of like, this is the Oppenheimer Oscars, but it's really just a nice capper on just the amazingness that was Oppenheimer's success and Barbenheimer's success, with Oppenheimer grossing over $950 million as a 3-hour R-rated biopic. Like, again, it cannot be overstated, the success of that movie in 2023. Godzilla Minus One is just an epic win for Best Visual Effects because of the slight budget that film had and what it was able to achieve with less. It's just an amazing thing, and I hope people take lessons from that movie as well as the creator in terms of what can be achieved visually when you have real, visionaries that are really thoughtful in their logistical planning when it comes to making a movie. Hopefully, those lessons can be learned, and some of these ballooning blockbuster budgets that we see sometimes can come down. So when the movie maybe isn't as successful as you hope, it's not this back-breaking, debt-inducing loss for the studio. I'm really happy that The Boy and the Heron won Best Animated Feature because, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, the first Spider-Verse film already won this award. They're going to make 2 more Spider-Verse films as well as a spin-off, I believe, about Spider-Gwen. So there's more chances to win again. But, The Boy and the Heron was such a capstone film. It was so referential to the past work of Hayao Miyazaki at Studio Ghibli that getting Hayao a second Oscar win, of course, after Spirited Away, getting that second win for a movie like The Boy and the Heron, which felt so, final as a piece of work, even if it might not actually be Hayao's final movie, it just felt right to me, and like a really kind of just type of win versus, the middle Spider-Verse movie in like the 3 or 4 movies they're going to make. So I think that was super, super great. Billie Eilish wins Best Original Song as expected for What Was I Made For? And yet, what was the scene-stealing song performance at the Oscars in 2024? Of course, Ryan Gosling and the rest of the Kens doing I'm Just Ken. Because I'm Just Ken was the song that should have won this award. Everyone's been saying it, but it's actually a moment in the movie itself that's memorable and meaningful. And we usually don't get that with Best Original Song nominees and winners. That's just usually not the types of songs that are in movies. So when you actually have a song like that, frankly, it should be nominated and it should win. So it's kind of a bit of a bummer that Billie Eilish, in her just immense awards popularity, whatever the award show is, kind of just pushed through. Frankly, Dua Lipa's Dance the Night being on the telecast but not nominated also was noticeable to me. Just some stats here. Oppenheimer is actually the 3rd highest grossing film to ever win, topped only by Titanic and Lord of the Rings: The Return of the King, which of course will make it the highest grossing Best Picture winner in the last 2 decades. In terms of people that weren't there, Wes Anderson won for live action short for The Wonderful Story of Henry Sugar, but he wasn't there because he's actually filming over in Europe. It was like day 1 or 2. Honestly, they really couldn't, switch the production just a few days. Nonetheless, understandable excuse. What's not an understandable excuse and just an L is Leonardo DiCaprio not being there to support Killers of the Flower Moon, to support Lily Gladstone, someone he campaigned for basically the entire season. Of course, Leo didn't end up getting nominated himself and not going. Kind of reminds me of Tom Cruise and James Cameron skipping last year. It's just lame and kind of in poor taste. And usually Leo's kind of above something like that. You expect it more from someone like Cruise or Cameron. So yeah, in conclusion, we had a great movie year capped with a great Oscars. It's what we want. And I think all eyes now will be on what the 2025 Oscars are going to be like, because it's looking to be a much slighter movie slate, in part and parcel because of the Hollywood strikes delaying some movies, preventing some movies from finishing production, thus leading to delays, etc., etc. We know the story. And we're certainly seeing that on the schedule with the blockbuster front, but lest we forget, a lot of movies that get nominated, whether it's A Past Lives, whether it's Anatomy of a Fall, and Everything Everywhere All at Once, whatever it might be, a lot of movies are not on the Oscar radar, March of the previous year. So things will bubble up, especially on the international front, as we can bank on at this point, and I won't be shocked if there's a lot of critical darlings. It's still really populating a deep Oscar year. But the question will be if there's a big movie, again, that can push through. I think Dune Part 2 is probably going to be that movie, given how many nominations the first film got. So right now, at this very moment, you would put Dune Part 2 kind of up there as one of, if not the contender for next year. Of course, it's so early to say. But that's where we're at. Let me know. How'd you feel about the 2024 Oscars? How'd you do at your predictions? I think I got 5 wrong, so I had decent year, but I underestimated poor things. That's really how I lost a lot of these. But yeah, how did you feel about these Oscars? What do you want to see next year at the Oscars? Do you want John Mulaney, the host? Let me know. And for more awards predictions, including the Oscars, the Grammys, and the Emmys, subscribe. And I'll see you next time.